I think we should start. Assalamu alaikum. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dr. Sham Al-Aloush, and I'll be gladly chairing this interesting session for this symposium. Actually, it's the longest session of the symposium, I think, so I hope everyone will stay with us to get the benefit from our great speakers. Please post your questions in the Q&A box for the speaker during the presentation. We'll give like about 5 minutes for each speaker to answer the questions after his or her presentation. We'll start with Dr. Noura Merhabi. I'll briefly introduce her. She's a prompt and professional dedicated person with 9 years of experience in the education field, with solid foundation in curriculum instruction, developing model lessons using structured pedagogy that fit within the scope and sequence based on international and Lebanese context through her experience in IB. This is in addition to her latest position as an EdTech curriculum advisor at ACT and Senad Lebanon Association. Dr. Merhabi acted as PR and event coordinator at several associations such as PCA, which is the Professional Computer Association, the Lebanese Inventor Association, ARISPA, and Digital Transformation Network in Lebanon, member at the Global Institute for Arabic Renewal. He assisted the leader of the EdTech and Innovation Committee and Digital Transformation Network in partnership with the Westminster for Democracy to write the strategic plan and studies for the Lebanese Parliament Education and Technology Committee. She was also involved in the jury for the EdTech startups in the National Association for Science and Research. Dr. Al-Merhabi is certified trainer for educational institutes and companies such as Microsoft and Edmodo. She gave training for DOPs in Edmodo, and she also trained the trainer at the Ministry of Education and USAID. Dr. Noura today will take us in a journey through education and innovation, two very interesting, very interrelated words. So we're looking forward for her presentation. Please, Dr. Al-Merhabi, the floor is yours.
Hello, good afternoon. Please, can you give me the permission? Great.
Yeah, we can see your screen now.
Great, that's perfect. Okay, so as you mentioned, I work in different associations, and I used to train the trainers at the Ministry of Education in Lebanon and USAID. Today I'm here and I'm really happy to be here with you in this virtual event. Hopefully next year we're going to be in person in Sultanate Oman together to talk about education and innovation for all. Let me give you a brief first about how to use FOSS and the importance of FOSS in education, and how can we implement it actually in order to give this opportunity for all the learners to innovate. Actually, in the last few years, open source has supported the education system by sharing data, libraries, and opportunities for teachers, professors, and scientists to involve their educational programs and improve the level of education in every stage. The open source concept referred to software with source code, which actually is accessible to the public and can be adjusted, improved, and adapted to meet the needs of any specific request, actually. And that what Professor Ali Al-Musawi mentioned, that we don't have to take the open source like it is and use it, but we should make changes to let it be actually adapted by our societies, our students and teachers. That is the Arab mentality. So we cannot take the open source like it is, because it's not made for us as Arab. Actually, it's made to be adapted, but we need to make changes to just reach our student and reach the needs of our teachers and students in the same time. So it presents actually a foundation on which anyone can build anything. For example, we take letters and use them to write a book, right? So the same, we can take the open source software technology and use it in order to create an online platform of any kind. So for this reason, actually, we are supporting our youth to create their own open source, or to take the open source and make it changes and have a startup for the Arab region in order to adapt it and to support it in our committees and our countries. This means that anyone in the education system can adopt the same approach actually and create a customized solution to meet different needs. An open source educational software can offer better communication and enable teachers, parents, and educators to monitor the child's performance. For this reason, if we want to talk about the importance of FOSS in education, I want to talk about, for sure, improving communication and increasing productivity. And for sure, it's easy to use and access. We can provide access anywhere, anytime, and for sure to complete monitoring of students, as I mentioned before, and the data security. So this is the importance of FOSS in education. Later on, we're going to talk about how can we implement it and how can we change the way of teaching that Mr. I think Walid talked about it in the previous session. So I will let you see right now. I'm going to share again my screen with video to let you see how do we work at ACT College in Lebanon and what we did in COVID-19 pandemic. Okay, here we go. I'm going to play the video to see how can we implement FOSS in education. Let's see. So during the pandemic, we know it was a challenge for all the schools and universities all around the world. How can they offer education in a better way and in a good quality? How can they give the lab sessions in a hybrid way or an online education? So using FOSS, using the open source software and the curriculum that we had, that we improve it in a way to let these students at home during the pandemic being involved in the scientific materials, and especially the robotics and scientific materials in a specific way, in an interactive way, And we did that as a challenge, as I said, and we did it finally. So to talk about innovation for everyone, we have to talk about the reason why. Actually, we have to provide not only education for everyone, but also the right to innovate for all the students. And that because of the fourth industrial revolution and the 21st century strategies and skills, and for sure, the digital natives and students in the Arab region and all over the world, to obtain the SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goal, in our way of teaching and providing information for our learners, and for sure to apply and stream STEAM program. As Mr. Walid mentioned in the previous session, we are not actually applying and giving the right education for our learners. That's right. Maybe it's hard to change the curriculum in the country because we have many challenges, especially in the MENA region. But at least we can change the way of educating and the way of giving the information. Changing the way means it's the halfway actually to improve our education in the Arab region. When I talk about the fourth industrial revolution, for sure, I'm talking about robotics, cybersecurity, big data. I'm talking about IoT, IOP. You are all involved about the fourth industrial revolution, but the most important thing is to use the SDGs in our curriculum or in our way of providing education. How can we do that? Actually, we can do it by just taking this code and taking this statement and apply it in our countries and in our schools and universities. That is, we should educate on innovation. So each student and each learner in a classroom, whatever is it, actually is an innovator in a way, because we know that we have different type of intelligence in each classroom. So I don't want to talk about the IQ of a learner. I want to say that each one is a creative and innovative in a way, and I should give this flame for this learner in order to innovate. How can we do that? I will let you see in a particular way. And, you know, I can give a speech, I can talk that we should do that, but the most important thing is to give you the way. And I will give you the way during the speech. So the right of innovation and creativity for everyone, it's a right for our learners. So how can I implement that in my curriculum, or at least how can I use it in using my curriculum that I have it with my hands right now as educator? We know that all the objectives in the lesson, and whatever is it, material in math, science, or whatever, we have to make the values of this subject is the Sustainable Development Goals. That means I should make my learners think about which SDGs actually they are talking about in this subject or this area. I should build the personality of my student, not only the 21st century skills, but also I should add the creativity. How can I teach and how can I make my learners think in a creative way in whatever they are doing? So the competencies, I will talk about values. Values should be the SDGs. I want to talk about skills. The skills should be the 21st century skills, and especially the creativity and critical thinking. And the knowledge I want to talk about research, but the most important thing is not to stop on the research level, but we should move from the research to apply this into a project or a prototype. That means we have inquiry-based learning that is based on critical thinking and creativity, and let the student innovate using the FOSS or using the free open source. So it's our way to implement FOSS, and how FOSS actually help in improving the quality of education in our systems. So all start by an idea, and we should apply STEM. We all know STEM and STEAM, and we know that is science, technology, engineer, art, and math. But Mr. Rabia Balbaki, the founder of the MENA EdTech Alliance, actually added two other figures or two other concepts to the STEAM, that is STEAM++. So in order to improve the quality of education and to adapt the innovation for everyone, we do have only to apply STEAM in our curriculum, but also we have to add the productivity and to think in the humanity, and if this project actually help us as a human to improve our lives, yes or no. So in addition to STEAM, we should add these two plus, and I should let my student actually think in this way. If their prototype are actually able to be productive, yes or no, and if it's help the community and the human itself, yes or no. So when I think and let my student think in this way, actually each learner will be creative in a way and will have a project that it could be productive, and it could help us as a human to have a better life and to improve the way and facilitate the way that we live. So STEAM++ should be applied and adopted by our teachers, our educators in schools and universities, because if we want to change a country or change a situation in a country, whatever is it, and maybe it's in a worse situation, we should start from educating our learners in the best way, and we can educate them through certain technologies. And when I talk about EdTech, I'm talking about education and technology in the same time. So we should adopt the technology and use it in our educational system in order to improve it. So all start with an idea, as I said, then a research plan to design using free online sources, then to create using the 3D printer, and to test, produce, and develop. That's how we usually, and how we are actually helping and asking our learners to think, and our learners to go through these steps in order not only to take information and take to just finish their college and to have a certificate in their hands. No, we want them to be creative and productive since they are a child or a teenager. So we should change our way of thinking first, we as educators and as experts in education, in order to change the situation that we are suffering in the Arab region. So at ACT College, we have our own kit, ACT Innovation in Technology STEM. And as I said, it's STEAM++ now, because we have the productivity and the humanity part. And for sure, we have books that talks about how can we implement robotics and coding in our curriculum and help our students to think in a different way. We are trying, we actually take an open source, but we put our touch on it. So now it's customized for us, not only as Arab, but as the MENA region. So it's the importance to benefit from the open sources, but it's really important to customize it like we did at ACT College and put your own touch and make it for us that can read our mentality and our way of thinking. So it's our kit and our book. And for sure, we are talking about Raspberry Pi, we are talking about microbit. And finally, I don't know if I still have time, but I want to mention that we can say that for sure is that in the following period, education will be changed, and actually it's changing. A change brought on by a pandemic, but led by technology, and it's the importance of technology and implemented it in our educational sector. The new educational wave offers the opportunity to invest less money and create an educational model in line with our personal preferences and based on data. So the future of education, it's in our hand actually. It's based on technology, and it's our chance to change this situation that we are living in it, take this light, the education light, and change your position in the internationally. We should be at Arab, this hub, the hub of changing, and have our own open source and our own curriculum, and especially the Arab and the Arabic curriculum and the Arabic content, because we need actually not only in the Arab region, but also they are asking internationally that yes, we want the Arab content all over the world. So we should take this as lead, and we should think in this way that we as Arab, we should have our own sources, our own content, and be the leaders in the educational technology field. I don't know if there is any question. I cannot hear you in a good way. Sorry. Prof. Abdel Nasser, I cannot hear him. He's talking about.
Sorry.
Okay. Yes.
Dr. Shaham, I think you are muted.
No, he's not muted, but we don't have voice. We cannot hear him.
I have a question, Dr. Noura. Thank you for your presentation. Is there any, can we know at which level these books and courses are given?
Actually, the books, our curriculum at ACT College, it's from grade 1 to grade 12. And many countries like Kuwait and Emirat asks for our books and our curriculum and our kit. So it's not actually only for the Lebanese learners, but also for all the learners in the Arab region. I want to mention a point about the improving and the production of Arab open source and the Arab content. We as MENA EdTech Alliance, I would like to mention that because Oman is a part of the MENA EdTech Alliance. At Expo Dubai, the Knowledge and Learning Week, Dr. Rabia Balbaki and I, we launched the MENA EdTech Alliance in an official way. And Oman is a part of this alliance. In this alliance, actually, we are supporting all the youth and all the startups in the MENA region, especially the one that they are creating their own programs and their own software, and they want a support, an international support. So we are doing that, and we are offering this support for them because we believe that we should do something for our region, and we should make a change in the educational field in our region. So the MENA EdTech Alliance, we started with the first step by announcing it, and now we are starting to have these baby steps together with all the countries like Oman, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, and Emirates. And we have many other countries that they're gonna join this alliance. So maybe, inshallah, later on, we're gonna talk about all the achievements of the MENA EdTech Alliance together.
Thank you.
Still, we cannot hear you. I think you have to change the option down for your microphone. Okay, let me double check if there is any question here. Okay. Sure, for sure. I'm gonna share my presentation with Dr. Abdel Nasser, and they can share it with you. And if you have any inquiry or question about our books, our curriculum, and our kit, I'm gonna share my email address also, so you can ask for a demo, or I can answer your questions. Feel free to contact me via email, and the presentation will be within minutes with Dr. Abdel Nasser. I would like to thank you so much for your time and for giving me this opportunity. And I don't know if one of the panelists have any intervention or a question in this field. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. If you can share with us this information, it will be very good. We will appreciate it.
Sure, thank you.
I think Dr. Shaham went out of the room, and he will come join again. I think this will solve the problem.
Hello, that's me again. I hope you can hear me now.
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good. Thank you very much, Dr. Noura. Sorry for that. I was muted somehow by the host maybe, but it works fine now. I see that you've answered the questions.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for that interesting presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next presentation, we have